Hello everyone, welcome back to my Road to 300,000 Gamerscore series. This is a series where I try to reach 300,000 Gamerscore by the end of 2024. As you can see today, the first game in my series is NCAA 2007. This was one of my favorite games growing up. I remember playing it on the PS2. I would play it for hours on end, and the one thing I wasn't prepared for coming into this game was how much different it actually looks on Xbox 360 compared to PS2. And by different, I mean the graphics are significantly better. The performance, of course, is a lot better than on PS2. But overall, the gaming experience on this is just really fun, and it still brought back a lot of the old memories that I used to have. The first thing I did when I started the game is I chose Michigan as my favorite team. I chose Michigan because they're in the college football playoff, and I truly believe that they're going to win the national title this year. I know that seemed like a far stretch on the first day I was playing this when Michigan was behind to Alabama. However, they are in the national title, and we'll see tomorrow on whether they actually win. Hopefully my prediction comes true. After I chose Michigan, I then turned off the offsides penalty in the main menu, and I went into Michigan's roster and edited all of the players to be 99 overall. This would help make it significantly easier to simulate games and also play in the games. When your team is just stacked, it makes it almost impossible to lose. So this is something I saw that would make it a lot easier and hopefully keep Michigan good for at least 3 consecutive years for that back-to-back-to-back national titles achievement that I needed to earn. After I finished running through and creating the most overpowered Michigan roster ever, I created a new dynasty, and in this dynasty, all of the rosters that I had edited would carry over into this dynasty and would make my job a lot easier. After I did this, the new dynasty would start up, and you would start in the preseason. And during the preseason, you can do in-season recruiting, which I thought would be a good time to start, so I could hopefully earn the recruiting achievements that they have. These 2 achievements involve signing 8 5-star prospects and having the #1 recruiting class. These proved mighty difficult in my first year and had some manual manipulation later on, but I did try my hardest to use the in-season recruiting throughout the first season to try to obtain these 2 achievements. After the preseason, I decided to get right into playing the regular season. Now, the one thing that was different about this regular season than all my other seasons was I actually decided to manually play the entire first season. I thought it would be fun. I started the very first game, going into the settings and changing all of the settings to the user to make it a lot easier than it already was, I guess. The computer had no shot, but I played the first season because I knew there were a lot of achievements that needed to be earned. A lot of those achievements being passing for 350 yards, passing to 5 different receivers in one game, rushing for 200 yards, one receiver having 100 yards receiving, I think total offense of 500 yards. Another one of those achievements, sacking the quarterback 4 times in one game, having one player sack the opposing quarterback 2 times in one game, intercepting 2 passes, returning one of those passes for a touchdown, return a fumble for a touchdown, blocking a punt. There were a lot of achievements that during the first season I earned, which I think was a good thing to do. I just played through the season trying to earn all of these achievements, made it go really fast, made sure I didn't have to come back and fix anything. During the first season, I probably netted around 90% of the miscellaneous achievements. However, after I realized that I did this, I found out that the Big Ten didn't have a conference championship game, and I would not be able to net that achievement. During the first season, I did win the BCS National Championship, so I earned that achievement, and it also gave me winning a bowl game, which netted me another achievement. Dynasty mode wasn't finished, however, because I still had to win back-to-back national championships. But first, I had to finish the rest of the first season. At the conclusion of this first season, I went into in-season recruiting, where I did earn one of the two achievements, and that achievement was having the #1 recruiting class, but I did not earn receiving 8 5-star recruits. I only had 6 in my first season. After the completion of the entire first season and the recruiting class, I decided that I should simulate the entire second season to save myself some time, so I stopped playing in all of the games. The second season, I actually won the national title again very easily. It helps when you have that overpowered Michigan roster. And then I decided that I should probably simulate the entire third season. The entire third regular season. Once again, it went by pretty easily. There weren't too many difficulties. I don't think we ever lost. I netted a few other achievements that I hadn't had, such as like having the #1 offense, which for some reason I don't know why I didn't earn it in the first season, but I didn't. So went into the third season, won all those games, and realized that I had to play in the third game, or the third national title. I played in it, and I clearly won, but I also netted blocking a field goal, which turned out to be very difficult. I had trouble blocking a punt, but the field goal, I think I tried maybe 6 or 7 times in that game, and I finally blocked it. It was really good. It was in the fourth quarter, and I went on to win this game, which then netted me the achievement Dynasty Trifecta. At the conclusion of the off-season, I started on my next trip, which this next process was probably the longest process of the entire game, and it wasn't even close. It was all for a single achievement, and this achievement was to coach for 60 years. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot. However, considering each season you have to simulate the regular season, and then you have to simulate the conference, and then you have to simulate the bowl game season, and then you have to simulate the off season, and then the preseason for every year for 60 seasons. Now that took a significant amount of time. I believe on Saturday when I started this, I did it for over 6 hours, and you can see right now in the video I attached some of the simulation. I didn't attach all of it because that was so long, but it is sped up right now 50 times and it still looks like it takes forever. And by the way, you have to be on top of it. Sometimes if you maybe don't see it right away, it's not going to keep simulating. For each of those items, you have to continually manually click it to simulate. So you can't do anything else. You have to just sit at your desk and wait for it to go. The one upside was, while it was going, I was able to work a majority of that time, which helps me in the long run because I didn't need to work this weekend, but being able to get a few hours in helps me in the long run. Can maybe take off a few Saturdays or not have as long of Saturdays. Now, after I got the 60 years achievement, which took way too long, I did a few mini games achievements, which there are only 3. Those didn't take that much amount of time. You can change the difficulty to freshman, get those over. I think I got those done in about 15-20 minutes. So those took no time at all. However, there were a few achievements I'm missing. One of those achievements being the signing 8 5-star recruits. So I decided to boot up a new dynasty. That dynasty I chose Ohio State just because they were ranked #1, and I thought it would be an easy way to simulate the entire season and have them go undefeated. So I chose Ohio State, simulated the entire year, made sure that they won the national championship. When I got to the end of the year, then I created 20 new prospects, and all of those prospects I made from Ohio. And then basically I made sure to spend all of my points on these recruits. Basically cheated the system to get 8 5-stars. It took a long time to make all of them. I would have to create a new player, or a new prospect and then upgrade him to 99 overall to guarantee that he was a 5-star recruit. And once I was done with that, then I could go through with the in-season or the off-season recruiting, and I just spent the entire time spending points trying to get them interested in Ohio State. And at the end, I was actually quite happy. I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult than it was, but at the end of the recruiting process, I ended up with 10 recruits, or 10 5-star recruits. So that netted me that achievement as well, which I thought was maybe going to be a little bit more difficult, but it actually turned out being quite easy when you just cheat the system and make sure all your recruits are from the same state, or at least in your pipeline, your recruiting pipeline, and that finished up the Ohio State dynasty. After netting the 8 5-star recruits, I decided to complete the final achievement that I had, which was winning a conference championship game. For this, I chose Florida because at the time they were the best SEC team according to this game. So I chose Florida, played as them, simulated the entire season, and then decided to play in the final game to net the conference championship achievement. And after I netted that, I had officially 100%ed the game. Overall, this game was really fun, and I actually give NCAA 2007 a 9 out of 10 for achievements in gameplay. I thoroughly enjoyed playing through this game. The only thing I found boring was the coaching for 60 years. I think they should have maybe allowed you to choose how many times you simulated the game, or how you could simulate. Maybe you could simulate it based on years and like say I want to simulate 10 years in the future. I think that would have been a lot better than that way. However, you can see all the achievements that I received. I've got them up on the screen and how fast I received them. The next up in the series is going to be a video game based on a movie, so I'm hoping to have that done by the end of the week. I'll see you all there. Thanks for watching.